it's not enough to just have the mindset of inquiry, that you have to have some processes so it's systematic inquiry. That is that all inquiry is not created equal. Let me give you a specific example from my past. So when I was in college, I had 2 summers. I worked a fantastic job. I was a lifeguard at Acadia National Park. Any of you ever been to Acadia National Park? Yeah, so I was a lifeguard at Sand Beach for 2 summers. It's an ocean beach in Maine. Think about that. No one swims in Maine, all right? The best job ever, okay? And so my job was primarily to be there when people had questions about the trails, or if someone sprained their ankle or a kid got lost somewhere on the trails, I'd go wandering off in the woods and help them out. But so I was always answering questions, and there were 2 questions that I got multiple times, both years that I worked there. The first question, and probably the most popular one, was, is that a whale? I got that one all the time, because if you've ever been there, there is a rock that twice a day, when the tide is right, looks an awful lot like a whale out there, spouting away. And so I always knew where the tide was because I could look up on the beach and see all of the binoculars trained on the rock and people excitedly pointing. And I usually just left them alone because it's exciting to see a whale, and I didn't want to ruin that. But if they did come up to me, I did, of course, have to let them know that, no, in fact, it'll be there again in 6 hours, you know, or 12. And that to me, though, is a question which is a good type of inquiry. That is that a whale? That's a good question. I don't know. I've never seen anything like this before. Let me find someone who might know and see if I can get some insight into this. But it's someone who's not in their environment at all. They don't understand it, but they recognize enough that they better explore it a little bit. That's a good question. The second question, which I got quite a bit as well, is someone would walk up to me on the beach and say, how high above sea level are we? And this is not just 1 or 2 people. It happened quite frequently. So certainly as someone who's in college, I usually would not let that person off the hook. I'd sort of, very slowly turn and look and then turn back and answer the question and watch his face turn red. That's an example of inquiry that is not good inquiry. Okay, that you've heard there are no stupid questions. I learned early, yes, there are. That's it. Okay, to me, why do people do that? These people are not. I don't think they're stupid. I think because they managed to get to Acadia. They didn't drive off the road or anything. So, but there's something about taking them out of their environment, taking them out of their routines, which gets them just not quite thinking clearly about, and just you're asking everything. And one of the things that I like to think about when we talk about flexibility and focus is that the flexibility is there to constantly be questioning what we know, what's confusing us, but the focus is also knowing where to go, who has that expertise, bringing the right people on board, and once you have some guidance, you guide others. Once I know that's not a whale, I'll break it to my family.